There we go. Hi, everyone. Hello again. So now we're going to spend, I realize I'm the last person between you and dinner tonight, so I'll try to be brief and entertaining as much as possible. Please feel free to interrupt me and ask questions if you'd like. If not, then I'll just go through this, and then you can ask me afterwards. Let's see how this goes. So you heard me. My name is Igor. I'm the CEO of DataSine, and I'm here to talk for about 15 minutes about what we do. So this is not working. Nope. Is it also off? There we go. By 2020, so in the next 2 years, Gartner estimates that 85% of interactions between businesses and their customers are going to happen online. What that essentially means is every business is transforming or needs to transform the way they engage these customers. What DataSine does is two things. On one hand, we use first-party data, and one of the things that we didn't really talk in the panel before was GDPR, we're actually using first-party data, so the data that a bank has already collected on its customers, to build a personality profile of the customer. On the other hand, what we do is provide a platform which enables the bank to tailor the messaging to individual customers. So a little bit about how we do the profiling. We use the so-called OCEAN, or the Big Five psychometric framework. And OCEAN stands for openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism, which psychologists believe and psychometricians believe defines the personality of every single individual. And every single one of us is a combination of these 5 factors. So you are somewhere between an introvert and an extrovert. You are somewhere between an agreeable person and a competitive person, and so on and so forth. And so the combination of those 5 traits is your personality. Here's an example of somebody who is open to experiences. The reason we use psychology is it provides us a link between data, so the behavior that's happening on one hand, and then the outcomes that we would expect from a customer. So in other words, what we're able to do is link a behavioral data set of where somebody shops, and we know that certain individuals who shop at certain merchants are actually more likely to be a particular personality type. And then we link that to things like what images they like or what colors they like. And so in the end, what you end up with is a technology that takes where somebody shops or what emails they're clicking on, all the way to make sure that you use color red or more complicated words in your email. And that end-to-end solution is what DataSine is all about. So in terms of how this works, what we do is we take an email that a bank has already sent to a customer before. So in this case, it's an Airbnb email, but it could be any bank product. And then we actually score individual content of that email. So we look at the images that were used in that email. We look at the text that was used in the email, and we look at the colors of the email. In this case, we identify that an image in this email that was used was 66% likely to appeal to extroverts because it includes people, it's invoking positive emotions, but then the color is actually more yellow hues, and the energy level of the image is lower. So we score the email, and then what we do is we look at who clicks on that email. So who was that email appealing to? And then based on those interactions, we build the individual profiles of every single customer. Then what we do is provide a tool, we call it Pomegranate, which allows a bank to upload an email. And then we actually take that email and make suggestions for images, text, colors, fonts, to make it more appealing to the different personalities of a customer. And so within 5 minutes, you can actually produce multiple copies of the same email and send it out to different customers to make the content of the email and the messaging of the email more appealing to those customers. So in this case, our engine would recommend changing the email, the image used from that one to the one where you have more people, they're smiling, they're warmer. It's actually 78% likely to appeal to extroverts And here's an actual use case. So this is an actual email that was edited, and you can see the various versions of that email. So the original email on your right, and then you have the introverted version, the extroverted version, and the agreeable version. We've changed colors and the layouts. We've changed the images that are used in every single email. And so as an example, you have an introverted in the email in the middle, where there's a solitary individual person versus a group of people smiling. You see less colors being used. You also see much more structured text in a line. And we do a lot of our own research. So we have psychologists at DataSine who actually run experiments all the time, looking what is more appealing to different personalities to then provide it into the platform to make those recommendations. So in terms of the actual use cases and commercial success, which is, I'm sure, what you're interested in. So we've ran a project in France where we personalized call center scripts, and we matched the personalities of the call center agents to the personalities of the customers. And what we saw is a 71% increase in insurance sales over the phone. At the same time, we saw the call duration also go up slightly. So the customer and the call center agent actually talked a bit more than the control group. But most importantly, we saw almost a double increase in the actual sales of insurance policies. In Belgium, we saw an 80% increase in engagement. So the bank was actually running an activation campaign where they were trying to get their customers to click, to use their cards more, and there was a competition that they were running. And so what we did is we actually personalized an email, which then led to a personalized website, as well as social media posts, made them more appealing to introverts and extroverts. And we saw an 80% increase in the number of customers who signed up for the competition than in the previous year. It was one of their most successful campaigns that they ran. And most recently in Russia, we actually increased sales of credit cards, so upselling and cross-selling of products via email, where 60% of sales, increase in sales came from just changing the emails the way you saw for those credit cards. So we changed images, we changed the way the product was explained, the kinds of features of that credit card, the way, so some customers were told that this is a unique opportunity, other customers were told their friends already using this card, and other customers were told that this is a safe and secure credit card to use. And so by highlighting separate features, we were actually able to increase the sales. In terms of the company itself, we were established in 2015. We're based in London. There's currently 15 of us. You can see that this year was a huge growth year for us. We've been working with BNP Paribas for 2 years to bring the technology to the market, and this year we've gone to multiple countries now in Russia, France, Belgium, and most recently in the UK with RBS. And we're actually in the middle of closing our Series A, which we expect to close by the end of the month. That will be about £4 million, and then that will allow us to go into multiple other markets, including Central Europe. We're already speaking to German banks and Austrian banks, and then the US as well as other industries. So we already have our first telco that we're starting to work with, and we're looking to go into retail and e-commerce, as well as financial services. The team, so myself, my background, as you've heard, I'm finishing a PhD in computer science and psychology from the University of London. My two co-founders both have degrees in physics from Oxford and masters in machine learning from UCL. And we also have psychologists, software developers, data scientists, and marketing and business development in the company, and we are looking to grow the company quite a bit. So if you have relevant skills and are interested, more than happy to speak to you. And our vision is essentially in the next 5 years to transform the way financial institutions interact, indeed all businesses interact with their customers by creating completely personalized experience to every single one of their customers. Thank you. Yeah, happy to take questions if there are any questions either on Slido or Yes.
Well, I'm not sure if this is a good question because of your business, but are you discerning between manipulating the client and bringing him an additional value or whatever?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, and for us, we have a very strong ethics framework in place. There's a couple of things that we as a company have decided to do early on, because you're right that there's a fine line between manipulation and information. So we as a company have a couple of things. So one is we only work with data that a bank has already received permission to be used for profiling purposes. The second thing is, and this was before GDPR, second thing is whatever insights we provide to the financial institution, we use a so-called screen test. So if you come to a bank branch and there's DataSine information about you, would the agent feel comfortable turning around the screen and showing you what the bank has on you? And that particular test, I think, has been quite powerful. So if we feel like, ooh, we wouldn't want to show this to a customer, we don't produce those kinds of insights. So that's been the second thing. And then the third thing is, most recently with Cambridge Analytica and some of the others who've been misusing data, we actually have our own published ethics guideline in terms of what insights we provide. So we're very clear up front about what we do and how the data is used to make sure that we don't indeed kind of do that and allow banks to mislead their customers. Yeah.